Eduardo Garcia was leading a life most people only dream of. He spent 10 years traveling the world as a private chef on the yachts of the rich and famous. But when he returned home to Montana in 2011 to start his food company, his life changed forever. He lost his left hand and forearm in a horrifying accident and thought he'd have to give up the work he loved. But he refused to do that and has overcome some incredible odds. Please welcome the man known as the Bionic chef, Eduardo Garcia. Hi. How are you? Nice to see you. Welcome. So nice to have you.
Yeah.
Wow. You're so handsome.
Oh, okay.
So tell us, obviously, when I introduce you like that, people wonder what in the world happened. I understand you were out hiking and this accident took place. Can you describe?
Sure. I'm from Montana. I'm from the country, so it was bow season. I was hunting. And I know this sounds very strange to people, but I came across sort of a pile of fur that ended up being a dead baby bear. And curious, as I am, I pulled a knife out and held it with my left hand just to say, what is that? I'm not going to touch it because it's,
Right, to just sort of poke at it gently, right?
Just to check on my way to where I was going. And unbeknownst to me, 2,400 volts of power was under the ground. And I was severely electrocuted and had 9 exit wounds over my body.
That's unbelievable. I understand you had to walk 3 miles before you were able to get to help.
I did. I'm still alive. Thank you very much. And thank you. My eyes opened up, and I don't remember anything other than get to your knees, get to your feet. And then I found myself on a road walking out to get help.
And so were you in severe pain? Were you in shock at the time?
I must have been both, but I don't remember feeling actual memorable pain until 3 days in. I was just in a zone, I must have been.
And I know after you walked to get help, you ultimately had to be airlifted to the hospital. And when you got there, what did they tell you about the extent of your injuries?
I was a bag of bones with a heartbeat, is what they said.
Wow.
Over the course of 12 months, I had 48 days in intensive care at the Burn Trauma Center in Utah. But to date, I've had 21 surgeries, my left hand amputated, 4 ribs missing, and extensive plastic surgery. And I just have total respect and admiration for the doctors and surgical team that put me back together. Thank you.
Well,
it's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
And as if that weren't enough, Eduardo, when you were in the hospital, the doctors told you something else.
One of the doctors, Nick Burge, he wheeled in a monitor, and as if there wasn't enough going on, said, by the way, one of the skin samples we removed came back positive for testicular cancer. And we think this sort of mass in your lower left abdomen is a 2nd stage tumor. We recommend wrapping up all of your surgeries and immediately starting chemotherapy.
So you had to obviously deal with this incredible, horrific accident.
Right.
And as you said, putting the pieces back together and also dealing with testicular cancer pretty much within a 1-year time period.
Yeah, it was a busy year. We had a lot going on. I did, though. It was interesting. The chemotherapy treatment was 3 months. Thankfully, it's in remission. But it was this thing I had to get through to get back to business, which was surgery and recovery of self.
And in a strange way, perhaps the accident was a blessing because they were able to diagnose the testicular cancer because you were there at the hospital.
There's something to be found in everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So did you worry that you were never going to be able to cook again, that you were never going to be able to go back to the work you love?
Yeah, not many people have the experience of being electrocuted, so I didn't know how my vision and thinking and body would respond. But when I realized that I still have my sense of humor and I still think straight and I still retain the last 30 years of my life at that time, I'm sure I can cook again. I just need to rethink how I operate.
Right, and so much of cooking obviously involves your hands, and you were given a prosthesis that was, I think, initially much sort of more bionic and more sort of high-tech, and then you decided to go back to something that was a little less high-tech, right?
I've got to go with the hook. I used a articulated 5-fingered myoelectric hand for a few months. It's not waterproof, and I was nicking the glove all the time, and it just didn't have the strength I needed and the quickness. We're about to cook, so we're about to get quick and hot with it. But in cooking, you're moving and it's a dance almost. And when I had that hand, I just didn't feel fluid. Whereas with the hook, which is another bionic attachment, I just rock and roll again.
And if you have to like grab an apple or something, you just go. That's so funny.
It's true.
And, well, wow, you've been through a lot. And we're just so glad that you're healthy and full of life.
Thank
and
you.
P.S., so cute.
Katie.
Oh,
Thank you.